With Anthony, author with 6 books to his credit. Welcome, Anthony.
Good to see you, G.
I am Gerhard Schwartner, the founder and publisher of Selling Power Magazine, and also the host of the Sales 3.0 conference. And let's talk about your keynote presentation in Las Vegas, Anthony. Tell us a little bit about the 1-Up formula and how it can help you grow sales.
Let's start by explaining why this is important in the first place. Okay, so
Okay.
if you look at Gartner's most recent survey, they asked buyers, "What would you like from salespeople?" And they said 72%. We would like a salesperson-free buying experience.
Yep.
Which means all of us salespeople are being removed because they don't want to talk to us anymore. Well, 28% wants to talk to us, but 72% said they don't have any interest in having a conversation with us. There's a couple things that are worth noting here. So the millennials now who grew up with the internet like to do their research on the internet and then ask their friends what they bought, and they're buying in a different way. So that's part of this. In that same survey, they asked, have you bought anything that was complex without a salesperson? 64% of that survey said, yes, they've already bought something that was complex without speaking to a salesperson. Now, if you're curious about how that works out for buyers, there's the other side of this story. The other side of the story is about 82% of them have buyer's remorse. Now, why do they have buyer's remorse? Because they didn't spend enough time with good salespeople to understand the decision that they were making. So the idea about 1-Up is this concept that because we have experience, because we sell the same thing every day, and we've walked all kinds of people through their buyer's journey, we know more about the decision making than they do because they're buying something that they buy, let's say, every 5 years or 7 years or something like that. And then they start to lean on their past experiences. But G, I'll just ask you if this is true for you. Have things changed over, let's say, the last 3 years or so?
Oh, no, it's the same.
Yeah, so everything's different, right? So
Right.
your assumptions that you start with are old assumptions, and some of them are outdated, and some of them don't make any sense anymore. So you
Yeah.
need a salesperson that can come in and straighten all this stuff out. And that means instead of saying, Gerhard, let me tell you about my company, let me tell you about our products and services, let me show you what we do with other clients just like you, everybody's like, oh, finally I'll get a good night's sleep here because you're giving me insomnia. I mean, that's what's happening. They're not interested in any of those things because the internet, like they can go
Right.
out to your website and all those things that you're going to say about your company is already on your website. They can go read that. They can read your testimonials. All of it's out there. None of this is hard for them to find. It's 2 clicks and they're there. So this means what we have to do is stop doing what doesn't work anymore. So that's that legacy approach that we did, which is why us, which marketing loves. That's done. It just doesn't work anymore. So now what do we have to show up with? We have to show up and enable a decision for a client. And
Right.
remember, they don't make this decision all the time, but we help people all the time. So this means we're responsible for educating them on what's going on in the environment,
Right.
what it means for their business, how it's going to harm them in the future. And then we also have to lead them through their buyer's journey, because if you let them decide, they won't have all the meetings that they need. They won't bring the right people in. And then they'll suffer because they didn't do the work that they needed to do to make the very best decision for their business. And remember, if you think that selling is hard, try being a buyer.
Yep.
It's a horrible, horrible experience to be a buyer. You've got to get people into these meetings. Sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't. Some people are opposing you. It's political. You have all these things going on. So it's a mess. This is
Right.
the environment that we're in. So the remedy for this is being 1-Up. And 1-Up means I have greater knowledge and experience about this decision that you're making. Now, this doesn't mean that I think that the person doesn't know anything, that they're not super smart, that they're not aggressive. It's none of that. But what it means is I know more about this decision for you. So I know more than you on this. But then the other side, they know way more about their business, how things need to work, who needs to be in these calls, who's going to be an opponent. They know all these things that can help us if we ask the right questions. And we do it in a way where the client feels like I'm being prepared to make a really good decision in the future. And if we can get that much done, you're going to have a salesperson and a sales team that's going to have a much higher win rate than any other approach that I've seen.
There's a very, very important point that you made earlier that made me think, and you always make me think. I think that learning is something that we were all trained with and we are all used to. And what you are bringing up is a new concept, which is the unlearning part. When you cited the Gartner statistic that 75% of buyers prefer a rep-free buying experience, means that we need to unlearn what we have done, which is templatize selling. You know, and we create a template and then we execute and repeat it over and over. And as you say, customers get bored with us because they're not engaged, because you're not providing that one-up experience that you are speaking about. And I want to invite people to come to Vegas, not to learn, but to unlearn the things that no longer work. And that's why we have you as a speaker, because you have 6 books, best-selling books, to your credit. And I see you as a visionary. Why? Because you're in the trenches. You are running a sales force right now. You are creating millions of dollars of revenue. I don't want to reveal the numbers, but from anybody I know who leads a sales team, your salespeople sell probably 20x more than the average salesperson out there.
And the reason for that is because we simply focus on one thing, and that's the effectiveness of the salesperson. If you get that part right, I mean, if they're effective in front of the client and they have the great sales experience and the client feels good about this, and they're educated and they're starting to understand the decision, it just makes it much easier for the salesperson to succeed. And at the same time, it also causes the client to have an easier time making these decisions because they're getting the information that they actually need to be able to do that.
What are you excited about coming to Vegas? You've been to Sales 3.0 many times before, but what is different this time?
I will just say, like, if you've never been to Sales 3.0, you've got to come out and join us. So it is a place where you're going to get new information. And the people that are going to be speaking are also people like me, that they're actually doing the work. They're out doing the work, and so they're getting that experience so they can be one up. I also think that if you want to have a conversation or be part of a conversation where people are trying to talk about these things that we're talking about right now, where you can actually ask questions, where you can talk to the people that are speaking there, what I would say to sort of piggyback on your Alf and Toffler, learn, unlearn, relearn, right? And then keep that pattern going. You will be challenged there to think about what you need to do with your teams in the future to get better results. And I'll be part of that for sure. Gerhard is a tremendous host. He's going to make you feel very much like you're at home, and you're going to say, I left here with 50 ideas that I could execute. Now I have to figure out which 3 I'm going to do. That's how it works at every Sales 3.0 I've ever been to.
And for the next 3 days, there is a QR code that you can scan up there that actually will give you a free ticket to Sales 3.0.
That's
The
crazy.
tickets are normally
You're giving
you're
giving those tickets away, and you made me pay to speak. Is that what happened?
Of course, yeah. We make money on the speakers. Why do you think I'm ordering a private jet now?
Oh, you better pick me up.
With your money, right? No, we are on a mission to help people unlearn. This is an unlearning conference where you come and realize that what you're doing is actually handicapping you and preventing you from having the best run sales organization that has consistent growth. I want to just share a couple of the speakers that are joining Anthony on stage. One is Tiffany Bova. She is vice president at Salesforce.com and the author of a wonderful book called The Experience Mindset, which I highly recommend to everybody. I actually bought 100 books, and I will hand it out to some people that registered with this code. So remind me, and Tiffany Bova is going to sign it for you. We also have John Turner, the CEO of Satinia, and he has a presentation that will blow you away. It's called the Victory Plan, which is the sales execution plan that allows you to run the sales organization on a track that is going to blow you away because it's growth focused. It's like Anthony's organization that is growth focused, and it's unstoppable. And there's one more thing that I want to share. I've known Anthony for a long time. Every time he delivers a keynote on stage, people stand up, give him a standing ovation. But here's the kicker. After he finishes, there's a beeline that forms. People want to speak to Anthony. They want to have his book signed by him, and they want to get his advice. Why? Because he's a brainiac. He has probably more knowledge about sales than the Encyclopedia Britannica ever published.
And I'm doing that missing a big piece of brain too, by the way. So thank you for that.
Well, that is probably a compensatory mechanism. You had a life-threatening disease that required you to be in the hospital and have you had 2 surgeries, right?
2.
Yeah, and you have the scar to show it.
Yeah, you probably can't see it, but it's there.
Yeah, right.
All the way back.
And it always impressed me how resilient you are and how you have staged a comeback that is phenomenal. And you remind me of Cassius Clay, remember? Impossible is not a fact. It is an opinion.
Yeah. Tomorrow night, big fight.
Yes.
Crawford Spence. If you haven't, you're going to have to shell out $85 for that one.
Who are you betting on?
Spence.
All right. How much did you bet?
300.
Well, that's a safe bet. Your money is safe.
Yeah. He's the bigger man.
Well, but a better bet is to scan that QR code right now. For the next 3 days, the ticket is free. An amazing offer.
That's saving you $850. True?
845.
845. Okay. To become. Right. Okay, so that's it. Come join us. I will tell you, you will enjoy this. You will make new friends. You will have very interesting conversations with the people that you meet. That's part of the allure for me to be at S30, because you will meet people and you will have relationships with people. You will sit together and eat together and talk at the tables. That's where a lot of the action is. You're going to have people that are going to challenge you, and you're going to share things with them. That's how it works.
And I predict that there are going to be 3 experiences that are unforgettable. One is we have the Sales Enablement Excellence Awards, and you see the winners. You rub elbows with the best in the profession. Number 2, there is a singer-songwriter that wrote a song about sales enablement, and she's going to perform that live for the first time ever. And 3rd, you get a free selfie with my friend Anthony Iannarino. Free. And you can post it on Instagram and say, I know Anthony. And people will be so impressed.
Yes, they will. There's no doubt.
Well, what the audience doesn't know, Anthony, when he was in his 20s, he was part of a rock band, and he is a rock star, and he toured the country. And what was the largest audience ever?
1,200.
That's amazing. That is incredible.
We sold all the tickets
Well,
ourselves.
That's incredible. How did you do that?
Oh, postcards, flyers, hanging up, asking people to call their friends. Yeah, it was good. But
You know how to move an audience.
in Sales 3.0 is going to be like a rock show.
Absolutely. I have no doubt about it. So come and join us. Our time is up. We promised 15 minutes and we gave you an extra minute. And Anthony, I can't thank you enough for being an amazing speaker, for being an inspiration, and for being a terrific friend. Thank you.
Thank you.